Okay, so Shavua Tov. Nice to be back. And Bezat Hashem. We're continuing with where we left off in the Likutey Halakhot. So it's Birkat Hoda'ah, the laws of giving thanks, Birkat HaGomel, and discourse number 6, paragraph. We're in the middle of paragraph 25, approximately halfway. And like we said, Reb Noson is opening up the whole incident of the battle between the angel of Esav, Samech Mem, Uncle Sam, and Yaakov Avinu in Parshat Vayishlach. So we went into details of the angel hitting Yaakov in his sciatic nerve. We went into that, and how basically we left off that Rav Noson explains, based on the Midrash, that the angel hitting the area of the legs of Yaakov, the sciatic nerve, which is like the hip, under the hip, is like the legs of Yaakov's descendants, us, the last generations before the coming of Mashiach. We're called the feet. The beginning of creation, the forefathers of the head, and then we go down, Am Yisrael, till we reach the end before the final redemption, and we're the legs. And us, we're being attacked more than anyone else in history with tests of sadness and depression and worry. And that's what the angel did. Okay? So now Rav Noson is going to now explain. We have to explain between the lines.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. The angel attacked the sciatic nerve.
Yeah.
Back then to prevent or slow down Mashiach coming for our generation. Like, how does it correspond to
Yaakov,
3,000 years ago?
Everything that's written in the Bible, it's written there because it applies also to us today. That's why we read the Chumash every week. Why are we reading the Chumash again and again and again? Because it applies today. Whatever happened to Yaakov is a symbol for us today. So Rav Noson explained.
As it's happening today.
Yeah.
As it's happening today.
So by the angel hitting the sciatic nerve, and the sciatic nerve is located on the legs, the bottom part of Yaakov's physical body, it's also Yaakov's lower spiritual body, which means the end of Yaakov's descendants. We are called the children of Yaakov. We're called the house of Yaakov, the children of Israel. We're all called after Yaakov Avinu. Okay? So the legs of Yaakov are us. These last generations now before Mashiach's coming. So now, in a way, what you're saying is true. There is a slowing down of Mashiach's arrival due to the advent of sadness and depression, which is so prevalent today. And because of that, people don't do what they can actually do to bring Mashiach. So yes, in that sense, Mashiach is delayed. He's delayed because of the sadness and depression, which was already initiated by the angel fighting with Yaakov in the Parshat Vayishlach, okay? The thing is now, at this point, Rav Noson is going to introduce a new thing. Yaakov, he himself represents Simcha. That's why the angel couldn't bring him down. In the wrestling match, when it says, we saw earlier, Velo Yacholo, the angel saw he can't bring him down. Why couldn't the angel bring him down? Why? Because Yaakov is physically stronger? Well, it's spiritual strength. What is the spiritual strength of Yaakov? That he's able to maintain Simcha no matter what. He's the source of joy. Yosef is an extension of Yaakov's joy. Rav Noson is going to go into Yosef eventually. But Yaakov represents the essence of joy. Okay, Simcha. So he saw the angel that he can't bring him down. He can't on him. Lo yacholo. So what did he do? I'll get his descendants. I'll attack his descendants, his offspring, and bring sadness to them. So now Rav Noson is going to say something phenomenal. It's such an amazing insight. Yaakov has no problem helping his descendants to shine into them, even today, the light of his simcha. It's done through the tzaddikim who are spread throughout the generations, who continue the flame of simcha of Yaakov Avinu, the fire of Yaakov Avinu's fire, and are able to help balance Jewish people who choose through free will to want to hold on and to have simcha. He can help them out. So he's going to say now, Yaakov will be involved in transforming the sadness of his future descendants into joy. But that's not enough. Yaakov wants more. This is amazing what he's going to say now. Ready? So let's look inside here. Vizeh. So he's reading from the verse. I'm just going to look at the Chumash. This is Parshat Vayishlach, chapter 32, Lev, verse 27. Okay? It's at the point where the angel already did the damage. He hit Yaakov's sciatic nerve. And then we said that's why the Jewish people don't eat the Gid HaNasheh because of that, right? We went into that, Tisha B'Av, if you remember. It was in last class. So this verse, Vayomer Shalecheni, and the angel said to Yaakov, let me go. Shalecheni. As if Yaakov was holding him back. Like the Midrash asked, what? Yaakov was holding the angel back? The answer is yes. That in a way, the angel is subordinate to Yaakov. So he's telling him, let me go. And he's saying, why let me go? Ki Allah Shachar. Because now the darkness has ascended. In other words, it's now dawn. It's now morning. And now, and like Rashi says, and I have to say Shira. I have to sing Shira now. The Zohar says more than this, that the power of the angel of Esav, Uncle Sam, Samech Mem, to do bad is mainly at night. During the day he has no power. So he told him, I have no power now, so let me go. Okay, that's what the Zohar says. Rashi, though, quoting the Midrash, it's my time to sing Shira now. I'm one of those angels who sing song before Hashem every day. Ki ala shachar, vayomer, and Yaakov said to the angel, Lo ashalechacha, I will not send you, ki'im berachtani, until, the literal translation is you should bless me. Rashi explains, what does it mean you should bless me? You should, let's look inside in Rashi. Hodeli ala brachot sheberchani avi. I want you to admit to agree, to give a consent to the blessings which Yitzchak, my father, blessed me instead of Esav, and I had to steal those blessings. That's why I'm called Yaakov, because I have to come in a very sneaky way, like a heel, undercover way to get the blessings. I want you now to consent that I deserve these blessings. And Esav is like now, complaining, oh, you took my blessings. I want you, the angel of Esav, to agree to them, okay? The Zohar says, and like the commentators explain, how do we know Rashi's interpretation is correct? Because Rashi is not explaining like the verse. The verse says, you should bless me. I will not leave you until you bless me. And what does Rashi say? Until you consent to the blessings that I received already. So this is the Zohar says this. The Zohar in Tazria says that if Yaakov was asking from the angel that he himself bless me, so the wording, that the grammar should have been tevarecheni. That's how you should say it. Tevarecheni. I won't leave you. Lo ashalechacha ki'im tevarecheni, until you bless me. By this that he says berachtani, it's like saying the bracha that I got already, I want you to bless it again. As if consent, admit to, agree to the blessing that I received already. The bracha that I have, berachtani, you should now consent to it. So it's like building up the blessing that I have already. Okay? This is the pasuk and Rashi. So now how Reb Noson opens this is unbelievable. Be'emet, okay? So he says, that's the verse. Reb Noson says like this, Hainu, in other words, Sheha'ish Hanal, this man mentioned above, who's the angel of Esav. He's called an Ish, because that's how the verse, Vaya'avek Ishimo, a man came. The verse calls him a man, because he was dressed up. There's obviously much more deeper meaning behind that. But he's the man, he's the angel Samech Men of Esav. This man, Samech Men, Savar, look at this, is such psychology here, it's phenomenal. He thought like this. Me'achar shenaga bechaf yerech Yaakov, since he already damaged and caused a blemish, a negia, he hit the side, the hip, the sciatic nerve, the kaf yerech, like the bone of the thigh of Jacob, bivchinat raglin, which is the concept of the legs, the feet of Yaakov, which is lagbir shama atzvut. The legs is the low souls of us, the weak people, the last generations before Mashiach comes, and in order that he should have his influence, the angel hitting there is the idea that his influence should be there. And what is his influence? Sadness. He wants to influence atzvut in the feet, the last souls of Yaakov's body. Okay? Chas v'shalom. God forbid. He figured, again, Since he already caused damage and was able to inflict sadness into Yaakov's feet, his lower generations coming up, the descendants, Yanicho Yaakov latzet mimenu ulefotro. That Yaakov now will let him go and let him go to carry on his way. Question mark. Why would he do that? Why would he think that? Why would the angel, what's the logic here? What's the rationale here? He figured that now, if I caused damage to Yaakov's legs, so let me go. I did my damage, let me go. And you, Yaakov, deal with fixing the damage that I did. So what is he thinking? You're busy now, Yaakov, trying to bring in simcha into these last generations, the legs, to fix the sciatic nerve, the spiritual symbolism of Gida Nashe, which we said, if you remember, was Tisha B'Av. In other words, fixing the sadness, turning it into simcha, which is the key for the redemption. So because you're busy doing that, you have nothing with me anymore. I did the damage already. I can go. He figured, you're too busy now, Yaakov, fixing your legs, your descendants, so you have no time for me. Anyways, what do you do with me? I did the damage already. If it was before, then I understand you're fighting me still, but I already did the damage. I already hit your sciatic nerve, and you have work to do now. You're busy now with your work of inducing simcha for the future generations, your feet, the concept of your feet, so let me go. That's what he was thinking, okay? And there's more to this. We're going to see. Watch this. Aval Yaakov, but Yaakov. So first of all, I have to understand that. That's a good question. That's a good point. If he did his job already, so then why, Yaakov, are you keeping this stalling? Why does the angel have to say to Yaakov, let me go? Why, Yaakov, you still holding on to him? You're busy now with your sciatic nerve. Now you have a job to do to try to bring in simcha to the future generations. Back then when this happened, so Yaakov now, with being hit with the sciatic nerve, which is all the spiritual dimension that it represents, so Yaakov now is busy to figure out how to bring in his simcha to the future generations to come before Mashiach comes. So he's busy. Let me go, okay? So the question is now on Yaakov. So why aren't you letting him go? What do you still want of the angel? He did his damage. Let him go. He did what he was supposed to do. He was sent to do that. He's the angel of Esau. So let him go now. He did his job. And on top of it, he wants to do something good. He wants to go sing, like Rashi says. It's his time to sing Shira to Hashem, because he's still an angel. Even though he's an evil angel, but he's still an angel of God, and he has to do the singing before God, right? So why are you delaying this, Yaakov? Let him sing. It's a positive act on the part of this angel. So he says like this: Aval Yaakov be'otzem kocho. Yaakov was showing how strong he is. Watch, in the awesomeness, in the greatness of his strength. He said to the angel, "No, lo ashalechacha ki im berachtani. I will not send you until you bless me," or like we said, Rashi says, you agree to the blessings, you enhance the blessings that were given to me by consenting to them. Okay, ze bechina. This is something amazing. This idea is what Rebbe Nachman teaches elsewhere. Mashakatav Rabbeinu Zal, what Rebbe Nachman wrote in another lesson in the Likutey Moran. Reb Noson, in this discourse, he's joining a lot. We're going to see in this lesson, he's joining a lot. This second lesson to this lesson, the Likutey Moran, that we're working on, lesson 24, part 1. He's joining it with another lesson, part 2, Likutey Moran, lesson 23. We're going to see it inside, where Rabbi Nachman says the following. Let's take a look. It's on a pasuk, Sason v'simcha yasigu v'nasu yagon v'nacha. I want to show you inside because it's such an amazing lesson, and it's short, and the point is amazing. When you see it inside, you can better understand what Reb Noson is going to say. The lesson reads like this: 23, part 2, the Likutey Moran. B'inyan simcha, when it comes to joy, regarding joy, al pi mashal, to give an analogy. Shalifamim, keshebnei adam smechim u'meragdim. You have times when there are people that they're happy and they're dancing. Azay chotfim ish echad mibachutz. While dancing in a circle, they see someone standing who's not joining them to dance. So they grab him from outside to join in the circle to dance against his will. The question is, why is that guy standing on the outside? Everybody else is happy and dancing. Why aren't you happy and dancing? Oh, this hurts. And dance. He's because he's sad. The person is really sad and in melancholy. That's why he's not at the level of joy like the other guys to dance with them. Okay, so he's sad. He doesn't want to dance, but they force him to dance. And they bring him into the dance circle against his will, dancing with the other dancers, ומכריחים אותו בעל כורחו, שישמח עמהם גם כן. And they force him, force him. He says, no, leave me alone. No, you're dancing with us. They force him, against his will, that he should be happy along with them. So too, Rebbe Nachman says, you have this idea regarding a person within himself with joy. Because when a person's happy, he's having an amazing day, he's having a good day. When a person's happy, he's having a good time, he's flying. So the melancholy, the sadness, the depression, the suffering, they go to the side. They wait for him to finish being happy. You finished? Okay, now we come back to you, right? They give him his time. You're happy? Okay, have your time to be happy. Don't worry, we'll get back to you. So they stay on the side, the melancholy, the sadness, the depression, and the suffering. Okay, like an analogy of the dance circle, the guy standing on the outside. But now he says, aval, like in the analogy, aval ma'ala yetera. However, it is a greater level, because here it is. There's times in life that you're happy, and there are times when you finish being happy, you go back to being sad and depressed and full of suffering. Okay, but it's a greater level now that it shouldn't be like this. Rather, how should it be? אבל מעלה יתרה, להתאמץ, לרדוף אחר המראה שחורה דווקא, to with power, with force, with energy, to run after the sadness specifically. It's on the side. I'm happy now. Okay, I'm happy. When I'm happy, I forget about my problems. I forget about all the suffering and everything. He says, no, while you're happy, remember the suffering, remember the sadness. להכניס אותה גם כן בתוך השמחה. Force it into the joy. Don't forget about your problems when you're happy. Don't say, oh, everything's amazing, and then you go back to Tisha B'Av. While you're happy, remember what you're sad about. Remember and bring it into the joy. Look what he's saying here. גם כן בתוך השמחה, באופן שהמראה השחורה בעצמה תתהפך לשמחה. That you reach a level where you turn the sadness that you have all year round, turn it into happiness by finding how it's something to be happy about, not to be sad about. Now that you're in a good mood, your faculty of brain thinking and strength to see clarity of the mind is enhanced when you're happy. So it's the greatest time to now analyze, why am I sad all the time? And think about it then. Don't not forget about it. No, think about it and start going into, why am I sad always? I'm happy now. I have a clearer thinking. Let me analyze why I'm so sad. And now try to realize it's not really what to be sad about. There's something to be happy about. There's something good about it. And by doing that, you've now transformed the sadness and depression and suffering due to the sadness and depression and melancholy into something positive now. But it's because at the time that you were going good, you didn't forget about the bad times. No, I want to think about the bad times now and try to fix them, to turn them into good. Why are they so bad? They're not bad. I have clarity because I'm happy now. So now I can deal with them. And I'll run away and forget. Like most people, I'm happy now. We'll deal with that later. We'll deal with my problems later. No, I'm dealing with it right now because I'm in a good place now that I can deal with it. Okay? גם כן בתוך השמחה, באופן שהמראה השחורה בעצמה תתהפך לשמחה, שיהפך המראה השחורה וכל הייסורים לשמחה. That I can transform all the sadness and melancholy and all the suffering into joy. Like you said in the analogy, כדרך הבא לתוך השמחה, like we made the analogy of the guy who's getting into being happy, שאז מגודל השמחה והחדווה, that because a person is so happy and delightful, מהפך כל הדאגות והעצבות והמראה השחורות, Shelo lesimcha. He's able to transform all of his worries, all of his sadness and depression, all of his melancholy into joy. Because now I'm in a good place, I can deal with it. Nimtza, so therefore what's he actually doing? Shechotef hamara shchora umachnis ota be'al korcha letoch hasimcha. So what is he doing? He's grabbing the melancholy and forcing it against its will into simcha. It's like he's grabbing the guy outside of the circle and bringing him in. He's taking the sadness itself and forcing it to dance. Meaning what? Showing himself, the person who's happy now, that this is not and nothing really to be sad about. I'm going to turn it into joy. I'm in a good place now that I can now deal with this in a proper mind frame, that I can find something good in this. Because ultimately, all sadness and suffering is really good. Just because of the weight of the darkness of the dinim, we don't see it. But when you're in a good perspective, you're in a happy mode, you can then, yes, deal with the sadness now. Now's the best time. Because I'm in a good place. My head has clarity. I can now see through the sadness to reveal that it's not sadness, it's really happiness. I'll turn it, force it in. And the Yetzirah doesn't want that. The Yetzirah was in charge of the melancholy. No. Stay awake. Be happy. I want you to be happy now. I want you to be happy. Just leave me on this side, and when you finish, I'll come to you. Don't worry, I'll come back to bother you. Don't worry. You want me? I'll come at the right time. And you say, no. I'm in a good place now. I have power, like Yaakov. I'm going to take you. I'm going to turn you into Simcha now. You're going to see. I don't want you to come to me again and the bad times in the dark times in my life. I want to do it for you now, so that when you come in the dark times, I already transformed you to Simcha. I already have in my head that this is really Simcha, and it's really nothing to be broken and sad and depressed about. I'm dealing with you now, transforming you now, so afterwards you can't come to me and hurt me and bring me down. Something else, Hashem will send a new test, but not you anymore. I'm going to finish with you right now. Okay? כשאז מגודל השמחה וחטא מהפך כל הדאגות והעצבות והשחרות שלו לשמחה נמצא, like we said, I just went up a few lines, שחוטף השחורה ומכניס אותה בעל כורחה לתוך השמחה. He forces against its will into the joy, like the analogy mentioned above, כמשל הנזכר לעיל. So now Rebbe Nachman takes it and dresses it in a verse. The verse is from Isaiah, chapter 35, verse, we're going to take a look here, verse 10. The verse reads, Sason v'simcha yasigu v'nasu yagon v'anacha. Sason v'simcha, the pshat is like this. Delight and joy they will reach, and sadness and depression will flee. V'nasu yagon v'anacha. So what's the pshat? That the Jewish people will have joy, and there'll be no more sadness and worry and depression. Okay, that's the pshat. So look how Rebbe Nachman's explaining it. Sheyagon v'anacha bochim v'nasim min hasimcha. That the sadness and depression, they're fleeing, running away and fleeing from the joy. Because like we said, it's like happening at the same time. Reb Nachman's reading the verse like this. When a Jew is sason v'simcha yasigu, so when that happens, the sadness takes off. It doesn't want to be a part of it. It takes off and waits on this side. That's how he's interpreting the verse. Ki be'et simcha, derech hayagon v'anacha la'amod min hatzad kanizkar le'el. Because when a person is happy, like we said already, it's the way of the sadness and depression to stand on the side, like we mentioned. But you have to run after them. You have to run after the sadness and depression. Not to just let it go. Like the angel saying, Yaakov, let me go. Don't let it go. You have to reach them and come to them. To bring in the sadness and depression and melancholy. Specifically into the joy. So this is how he's reinterpreting the verse from Isaiah. Sason v'simcha yasigu. He explains like this. Sason v'simcha yasigu. Like the pshat is, the Jews will reach joy and delight. He's saying no. Sason v'simcha, the joy and delight, will reach and grab the yagon v'anacha. So the sason v'simcha is yasigu, is trying to pursue and reach what? The next words in the verse. What's running away from them? But he's trying to reach, and in the meantime, Yagon v'Nasu is trying to run away. So that the Nasu Yagon v'Nacha is running away from the Sason v'Simcha, which is trying to masik. Amazing how Rabbeinu is explaining the verse. Amazing, okay? Shasason v'Simcha yasigu v'itpesu et Yagon v'Nacha. They should grab it. Shem nasim, because the wording in the verse is v'nasu, that they're taking off, they're fleeing. The sadness and depression is taking off. Ubochim, and running away from the joy. Lachnis, and the Sason v'Simcha is running after them, even though they're running away, to pursue them, to bring them against their will into the joy. Okay? Ki yesh yagon v'anacha shem sitra achra, because you should know there is sadness and depression, which is the evil side itself. She'enam rotzim liyod merkava l'kedusha. They don't want to be a chariot, a vessel for holiness. Al kenem brochim min hasimcha. When there's happiness, they run on the side. Because they want to be part of it, and they'll come back to you afterwards when you're not sad. They don't want to be there when you're happy. So we want to transform them to happiness. You have to force them into the holiness, into the joy, simcha, be'al krocha. This is what Reb Noson is explaining here. Phenomenal. Yaakov is telling the angel, no. It's not enough that I'm going to work on transforming my legs, my descendants into joy. and you said you feel like you did your job now, so I can go back to being like an angel, to go amongst the other angels. Now it's done. I can go now. Praise Hashem. No, 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 no. You're running away. I'm gonna force you here. You're not leaving until you bless me. In other words, you agree to the blessings, which are joy, which are simcha. The blessings I received from Yitzchak are simcha, because bracha is simcha, and I want you to add to it by consenting to them. You're adding to my simcha. It's the same idea of forcing the evil against its will, the sadness and depression against its will into the joy. That's what Yaakov was actually doing. Unbelievable. Okay, so let's go back inside and take a look at this here. So he's saying like this. I'm just going. I explained the idea outside. Let's see it inside now. This is what Rebbe Nachman said in lesson 23, part 2. Al Pasuk, on the verse from Isaiah 35:10. Sasam v'simcha yasigu. Like we said, they run, joy and delight run to pursue the sadness and depression. And in the meantime, the sadness and depression is running away, but it won't do them any good. Because in the end, the Sasam v'simcha grabs and reaches the Yagon v'anacha and transforms it into joy. Umuva le'el mizeh. Rav Noson already touched upon this earlier. Rav Noson, when he was writing this discourse, he was excited, telling his son, I'm now learning lesson 24 and lesson 23 part 2, and he's writing a beautiful discourse on it. These are letters Rav Noson was writing in this year, 1843, 1844. The winter, like the beginning of the winter of the end of the year 1843. And he's using these two lessons because it's a common point that you have to run after the sadness and depression and turn it into joy. Not you run away from it. Rather, when you're happy, you run after it. Okay? That the sadness and depression, they want to take off and run when a person is now overwhelmed with building joy. That was the case now. Yaakov now is involved of bringing in additional simcha to fix the sciatic nerve, to fix the gida nasheh, to fix the legs, to fix the upcoming descendants who are going to be inflicted with sadness and depression. So in order for Yaakov to do that back then and now, he has to add a surplus, excessive amount of joy. So there's a lot of joy now by Yaakov. That's why the angel's taking off. You're busy, Yaakov, fixing your sciatic nerve. I hit you there. And now you're busy trying to find more joy to rectify them. So you're busy in this. I kept you busy. I made you be busy now. It's true there's more joy now, but I give you work. There's more joy because there's sadness that I'm melancholy that I'm inflicting in your future generations, your descendants. So now it's causing you that you're now involved in more simcha, and now it can take off. You would think, so why did you do that? Because when the angel did that, he didn't know the tremendous power of Yaakov. When he saw that he has the power to take care of fixing his sciatic nerve, which eventually happened, we see that he was healed. You remember when he arrived in Parshat Vayishlach also. When he came to Shechem, he was healed already. He was totally healed. The sun healed him, but he got healed. He got out of it. Meaning Yaakov is successful in bringing joy to his future descendants if they want. It's free will is still there. If they want, they can have the joy of Yaakov Avinu to be reinitiated, reignited. Okay, fine. רוצים לברוח ונס כשמתגברים בשמחה, אבל צריכים לחטוף את היגון והנחה. But when you have tremendous joy, Rebbe Nachman says, don't forget about the sadness, the source of the sadness and depression. In this case, the angel, Samech Mem, who was inducing the sadness and depression, it's him, he's the source of it. We have to grab him, grab the sadness and depression itself, להכניסו בעל כוחו לתוך השמחה וכו', to bring it against its will into the joy, etc. And that's this idea that Yaakov forced him to bless him. Okay, you're going to bless me now. You're going to bless me. You're going to agree to the blessings, meaning I want you now to be transformed into bracha. You yourself, the angel Samech Mem, you are the epitome of sadness and depression. We are going to turn you into simcha. That's what he was saying. You're going to bless me. And then he said, okay, I agree to the blessings, and I will be there when Hashem changes your name from Yaakov to Israel. I will be there also to agree then. But I'm already telling you now that I'm going to agree. That's already the submission of the sadness and depression under the Simcha of Yaakov Avinu. That's what's really taking place here. Amazing. Fine, we'll stop here because it's heavy. We'll continue Bezat Hashem in the next class on the next paragraph. I know it's going slow, and at this pace we will never finish the entire.
No, it's beautiful.
Of course, it's beautiful.
I love it.
You see, when you read Likutey Halakhot.
One question.
Yeah.
Is it so the angel wasn't going after or preventing or stopping Mashiach. He was bringing sadness into the world, and Yaakov healed that by fixing it later on, or allowed happiness to come back.
Yeah, the hitting of the angel is to bring in sadness in the future.
Sadness.
And now Yaakov had to now work to make sure there'll be simcha also in the future, our time now. Okay, but Yaakov wasn't satisfied. But he wasn't satisfied with that. He says, "No, it's not enough. I want to transform you itself, Uncle Sam, the angel Samech Mem, into joy." It's not, Yaakov is showing how strong he is. He says, "Not enough to let the Yetzer to keep on hitting us and then take off. And I did my damage. I can go. No. We want once and for all to transform you into good." That's Yaakov's power. That's he's saying the blessing.
That's amazing.
But it's future tense. He said, "I'm going to bless you," because really we're still dealing with Samech Mem. The goal is that he's going to be transformed into Simcha. The slaughtering of the angel Samech Mem means he's going to be shechted and transformed into Simcha. You got it?
Yeah, beautiful. All right.
It's unbelievable stuff.
We got one more. We're going to have to finish with Uman.
Bezat Hashem.
All right, Rabbi. Speak to you.
Chazak u'baruch.
Hatzlacha.
All right, chazak.
Bye-bye.
Chazak u'baruch.